very good evening to you and welcome to tonight's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. My name is Krishan Devasagaya.
And I'm Vera Verakon. Let's have a look at your headlines for tonight.
The headlines on Newsfirst.
22nd Constitutional Amendment and Judicature Amendment Bills to be presented to Parliament on the 18th of August. 3 committees appointed to probe unrest at Kuruvita, New Magazine and Pallansena prisons. Will not allow conspiratorial crimes to be committed inside prisons. A statement from the Minister of Justice. All arrangements in place for scholarship examination. 4 hotline numbers to report emergencies. Study launched on impact of El Niño on Sri Lankan waters. And in your top story tonight, the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution is scheduled to be presented to Parliament on the 18th of August.
The Judicature Amendment Bill is also scheduled to be presented to Parliament on the same day.
The 22nd Amendment to the Constitution, which includes amendments to extend the retirement age of Superior Court judges, was gazetted yesterday. The Judicature Amendment Bill, which includes a proposal to extend the retirement age of judges of the High Court, District Courts and other courts, was also gazetted yesterday. Accordingly, these amendments include proposals to extend the retirement age of judges across all courts in Sri Lanka. What happens next? The next step is to present the relevant amendments published in the Gazette to Parliament. This is known as the first reading of the amendments. But that too cannot be done arbitrarily. According to the Constitution, a specific period must also be observed before this can take place. A minimum of 7 days must pass from the date an amendment to an act is gazetted before it can be presented to Parliament. Accordingly, the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution and the Judicature Amendment Bill, which were gazetted yesterday, will complete the required 7-day period on the 14th of August. Accordingly, 11 days after the Gazette notification on the 18th of August, the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution and the Judicature Amendment Bill will be presented to Parliament for the first reading. What happens after that? According to Article 121 of the Constitution, if citizens have any concerns regarding the constitutionality of the relevant bills after they have been presented to Parliament, they can petition the Supreme Court to challenge their constitutionality. The period allowed to challenge the constitutionality of the bills is 14 days. That 14-day period will end on the 1st of September. According to the Constitution, if a petition or petitions challenging the constitutionality of these amendments are filed before the Supreme Court has 3 weeks to hear and determine the matter. That is, by the 22nd of September. The opinion of the Supreme Court will be communicated to the Speaker. What happens once the decision is made? The Speaker will then inform Parliament of the Supreme Court's determination on the next parliamentary sitting day. According to the law, the bills will then be referred to the Sectoral Oversight Committee on Public Administration, Justice and Civil Protection. The chairman of this committee is Member of Parliament Dr. Najith Indika. The other members are G.G. Ponnambalam, Shanikyan Rasamanikam, President's Counsel Faisal Mustafa, Mujibur Rahman, Ajit P. Pereira, M.K.M. Aslam, Attorney-at-Law Tushari Jayasinghe, Dr. Sellathambi Tilakanathan, Dharma Priya Vijay Singha, Chandana Surya Rachi and G.D. Surya Bandara. After considering the bill amendments and the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution in the relevant committee, the chairman of the committee will submit a report to Parliament. Thereafter, the second reading of the bills can be held in Parliament. Considering the constitutional framework and this time frame, it appears that the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution and the Judicature Amendment Bill could be debated and passed in Parliament by the 24th or 25th of September.
Several groups met with the chief prelates today to voice their opposition to the extension of the retirement age of judges through the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution. This morning, a group including the leader of the United National Freedom Front, Attorney-at-Law Maitri Gunaratna, and Dinana Dakuna collective lawyers Shira Laktilaka and Ravi Kumudesh met with the Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thero, the Mahanayaka of the Malwatu chapter of the Siam sect. Later, the group also met with Anunayaka Thero, the Venerable Dimbul Kumbure Vimala Dharma Thero, where they presented their concerns and outlined the reasons for opposing the proposed extension of the retirement age of judges.
Meanwhile, senior attorney at law Ranjit Rajakaruna, based in Anuradhapura, convened a media briefing today and expressed the following views.
We must discount everything that is being said at present. We need to look at this from a scientific viewpoint to see if there is any basis for this or not. When you look at it like that, this amendment is timely and necessary, especially as it helps justice to be meted out to the people of this country. Therefore, I see this amendment as one that must be done. The opposition you hear does not reflect the voice or the opinion of the people. I see this as opposition being carried out based on the personal agendas of varying individuals and groups.
In another headline-making story this evening, 3 committees have been appointed to investigate the unrest situations that occurred in the Colombo Magazine prison, the Kuruvita prison and the Pallansena prison camp in Negombo.
Acting Commissioner General of Prisons Hemantha Prasad stated that these committees will also take action to specifically identify whether there was any external influence for the prison disturbances that took place, and stated that a separate committee has also been appointed to assess the damage caused to prison properties.
Security at the Colombo Magazine prison, Kuruvita prison and the Pallansena prison camp has been intensified by now. The department stated that the police special task force and the tri-forces have been deployed for this purpose. Meanwhile, 11 inmates who were injured due to the unrest that occurred among inmates at the new Magazine prison at midnight on the 6th have been directed to the prison hospital. The Department of Prisons stated that steps were taken to transfer 9 other inmates to another prison. The number of inmates who died during the unrests in the Colombo Magazine prison, Kuruvita prison and the Pallansena prison camp in Negombo is 3. The number of injured is close to 60. Accordingly, the number of deaths due to the disturbances that occurred in 5 prisons during the past few days is 35. The number of injured persons is over 150. Steps had also been taken since yesterday to tighten the security around prisons in many areas of the island. Meanwhile, it has been decided to establish separate committees for all 33 prisons operating in Sri Lanka for the welfare and security of prison inmates. Through those committees, the necessary steps to face any situation relating to prisons will be identified. That decision was taken during a discussion held at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday under the leadership of the President.
We have decided to establish a joint mechanism covering every prison, a joint rapid response unit with the support of the Department of Prisons, the police, the Special Task Force and, when necessary, the Tri-Forces. Its primary expectation is to take action regarding the safety of inmates during emergencies. In addition to that, it will look into inmate welfare, delays in government analyst reports and all other necessary requirements, not just security, but everything else concerning the inmates. Because we know that even though certain conspiratorial groups operate things from within, there are also individuals who are not involved in these activities. We will not give any opportunity whatsoever for such conspiratorial crimes to be committed from inside. However, there are ordinary people in there who are not connected to those things. We must provide them with some relief.
Meanwhile, parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa says that the constitutional amendments introduced by the government are pointless. He also explained the reasons behind the overcrowding in prisons.
Today, the government's most famous slogan is that to reduce the pressure on this judicial system and to catch thieves, the tenure of judges must be extended and their retirement age limit must be increased. This is like applying medicine to the leg for a backache. This is how the government provides solutions to the problems of the people of this country. If the government has a need, if there is a hidden agenda behind this, they should just get it done. There is no need to tell these lies. Will increasing the age limit reduce the pressure in the prisons? Will increasing the age limit of judges reduce the pressure on the judiciary? This is how the government operates. Right now, there is a crisis inside the prisons. That is a matter of common sense. When you put 45,000 people in a place that can only accommodate 11,000, there will obviously be pressure.
The People's Struggle Alliance says that the severe overcrowding in prisons was caused by operations carried out for political motives.
Right now, a riotous situation has emerged in several prisons. There is a clear issue here that we have continuously raised. Operation Yuktiya, an unjust operation implemented in the name of justice. We said this even when it first started. Filling the prisons with drug users or drug addicts will not solve the drug problem. We warned that someday the prisons would explode, and when they do, it would become a massive social issue. Now that day has come. How did it come to this? It came to this because ordinarily prisons can accommodate 11,000 prisoners. That was increased to 29,000 by the previous government, the former Ranil Wickremesinghe government, the temporary government. They increased it to 29,000 just to put on a show surrounding Yuktiya. Then the current administration increased it from 29,000 to 41,000. When a situation like this arises, prison officers have very little they can do. They are directly involved in the situation and can only try to resolve it using the methods they know. A government, however, is expected to look at the situation from a broader perspective and think beyond what is happening on the ground.
Meanwhile, National People's Power parliamentarian Dharmapriya Disanayake says that political motives are at play behind the unrest that occurred within prisons recently.
When this law is being implemented, many former officials as well as political leaders are being taken into custody. They have a small point they can raise going forward, that there is no security inside these prisons. We believe that this could be part of a preparation for that. When certain things are being planned by them, we can somehow sense from the indications that this is what they are preparing for. We must tell to all those involved, when you are preparing for such things, please do not destroy the lives of the prisoners inside and then engage in such petty acts.
3 senior Deputy Inspectors General of Police and 6 assistant superintendents of police have been transferred with immediate effect. Police headquarters stated that the transfers were made with the approval of the National Police Commission.
Senior DIG Kitsiri Jayalat has been transferred from the post of SDIG in charge of the Southern Province to the post of SDIG in charge of the Sabaragamuwa Province. Meanwhile, Senior DIG UPADKP Karunanayaka has been transferred from the Special Security Division to the post of SDIG in charge of the Northern Province. Senior DIG GMHB Sirivardhana, who was in charge of the Northern Province, has now been transferred to the post of SDIG in charge of the Southern Province. Meanwhile, Senior DIG WSC Jayasundara, who is in charge of the Children and Women's Affairs Division, has also been appointed to oversee training and advanced training in addition to his current responsibilities. Police said that 6 Assistant Superintendents of Police or ASPs have also been transferred.
All arrangements have been made to conduct the Grade 5 scholarship examination tomorrow.
Now, Commissioner General of Examinations Indika Kumari Liyanage said that the GCE Advanced Level Examination is also scheduled to commence next Monday.
The Grade 5 Scholarship Examination will be held tomorrow at 2,723 examination centres across the island. A total of 294,089 students have registered for this year's Scholarship Examination. This includes 220,366 candidates sitting the examination in the Sinhala medium and 73,723 candidates in the Tamil medium. The Scholarship Examination will commence at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. What are the special instructions that students facing the scholarship examination and their parents should follow?
The index numbers assigned to the children for this examination have already been provided to them. All children need to be taken to their designated examination centres 1 hour before the examination begins. No parent will be permitted to enter the premises where the examination is being held. Parents are also prohibited from entering the premises during the break. Do not take mobile phones, other electronic devices, smartwatches, notes or anything of that nature into the examination hall. The children may take only the pens, pencils and erasers they need to write their answers into the examination hall. They may also take water in a transparent bottle. If necessary, a short snack can be given to the children during the break. Parents should provide these items when bringing the children to the examination before they enter the examination centre.
How will the examination be conducted?
The second question paper will be conducted first. The children will have 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete it. Following that, after a short break, the first question paper will be given to the children at 11:15 am. They will have 1 hour from 11:15 am to 12:15 pm to answer the first paper. All answers must be written on the question paper provided to them. There is no need to write answers on additional sheets of paper. If they need to do rough work, additional sheets will be provided by the examination hall for that purpose.
Meanwhile, the GCE Advanced Level Examination is also scheduled to commence next Monday. The examination will be held at 2,532 examination centres across the island until the 5th of September. A total of 372,310 candidates have registered for this year's examination. This includes 264,496 school candidates and 17,814 private candidates.
The mighty Mini Club Members Day Grand Prix will be held on 9th August at the Katukurundal Racetrack. Club members will bring their minis of all vintages starting from earliest classic models to the latest Coopers to have an exciting day at the racetrack. Media sponsor MBC MTV.
නිවැරදි විශ්වසනීය පුවත් කඩිනමින් ඔබේ ජංගම දුරකථනයට Newsfirst ඩයලොග් කෙටි පණිවිඩ සේවාව ශනිකව සක්‍රිය කරගන්න QR කේතය ස්කෑන් කරන්න.
දිනුම්මැදීමෙන් වටිනා ජංගම දුරකථනයක් හෝ රූපවාහිනියක් දිනා ගන්න.
Welcome back. The Central Environmental Authority has taken steps to introduce new regulations regarding community noise. The regulations have been introduced under the National Environmental Amendment Act, which was recently passed.
Now, a key feature of the new regulations is that powers have been granted to arrest a suspect involved in creating community noise without a warrant.
What is the new Environmental Act introduced after 26 years? Following the National Environmental Act No. 47 of 1980, no government took steps to introduce a new environmental law in the country for 26 years. Although there were 9 governments and 10 ministers of environment during this period, discussions on introducing a new environmental law only emerged in recent times. As a result, Cabinet approval was granted in 2025 for the new bill. The new bill was published in the Gazette on 22nd April 2026 and the public was given until the 6th of May to submit objections. The bill was subsequently debated in Parliament on the 24th of June 2026 and was passed with a majority vote. What is special about this act? A key feature of the act is the introduction of new laws and regulations relating to noise pollution. Under the new provisions, any person who causes noise pollution can be arrested for a cognizable offence. Under Sri Lankan law, a cognizable offence can be described as a serious category of offence for which the police have the power to arrest a suspect without a court warrant.
In the new amendment to the National Environmental Act introduced after 26 years, the offence of noise pollution has been made a cognizable offence. Accordingly, when a person engages in noise pollution in a manner that causes disturbance or distress to the members of the public, the new act provides the legal framework to arrest such individuals without a warrant. Going forward, the Central Environmental Authority, together with the Police Department, expects to use these new legal provisions to regulate noise when an individual or group produces noise at a level that causes distress or disturbance to neighbors or members of the public. Following the introduction of these new regulations.
What is meant by community noise? Under the new act, community noise refers to excessive noise emitted from areas where communities reside, as well as noise pollution-related activities that interfere with public peace, daily life and the environment. This includes the use of loudspeakers at high volumes, excessive vehicle horn noise, disruptive noise during nighttime, and various other noise-generating activities that prevent neighbours from resting or enjoying peace and quiet. Until now, Sri Lanka had no specific laws or regulations relating to community noise. However, the Central Environmental Authority says that regulations necessary to address this issue have now been drafted and finalised. Once these regulations come into force, strict legal action will be taken against anyone who creates noise in a manner that causes disturbance to the public. What about excessive noise from public transport buses? There is currently significant public discussion surrounding buses that produce excessive noise. Under the new regulations, new limits will be introduced regarding excessive noise generated by public transport buses.
When using a public transport bus, many buses use radios, subwoofers and speakers that produce extremely high levels of sound. These new provisions will enable us to manage and regulate the disturbances or distress caused to passengers and members of the public by such excessive noise. In particular, under these new regulations, we expect to introduce limits on the permissible noise levels inside buses, as well as at public places where members of the public gather. If noise is maintained at a level that exceeds these limits and causes disturbance or distress, legal action can be taken against those responsible.
How will these new regulations be implemented? The Central Environmental Authority says that any regulations introduced will be enforced only after public consultation.
Before these regulations are enforced or formally made into regulations, we expect to conduct a comprehensive public consultation on this matter. In no way will these regulations deprive or restrict citizens of opportunities for entertainment, cultural activities, or their religious beliefs and practices. These new regulations have been prepared with the objective of creating a more livable environment.
The National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency has forecast that sea surface temperatures in Sri Lankan waters or the surrounding seas of Sri Lanka are expected to rise due to El Niño conditions. NARA has launched a study to assess the potential impact of this development. Now, the study will primarily examine the rise in sea temperatures in Sri Lankan waters and its impact on phytoplankton.
The National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency stated that sea temperatures in Sri Lankan waters increased during El Niño conditions experienced in 1998, 2016 and 2023. As a result, phytoplankton came under threat, ultimately leading to a decline in fish catches along Sri Lanka's coastline. The study will make use of satellite data as well as temperature measuring instruments to be installed in sensitive areas within Sri Lanka's maritime zone. The sea surface temperature in Sri Lankan waters is also forecast to rise this year due to the effects of El Niño. NARA stated that if temperatures rise in this manner, phytoplankton could be affected, creating a tendency for small fish that feed on phytoplankton to move towards other areas of the ocean where the water is cooler. If that happens, larger fish that feed on these smaller fish could also become scarce in Sri Lankan waters.
The number of dengue cases reported nationwide so far this year has surpassed 89,000. In the first few days of this month alone, 3,686 new cases were recorded.
According to the National Dengue Control Unit, the disease has claimed the lives of 64 individuals. Currently, 119 MOH divisions have been designated as high-risk zones. The National Dengue Control Unit further mentioned that continuous mosquito eradication programs are actively underway in these affected regions.
The Attama National Cleanliness Day program, aimed at fulfilling citizens' responsibility towards creating a cleaner nation, commenced today. The theme of the program is National Civic Mission for a Clean Nation.
The Attama National Cleanliness Day program, jointly organized by the Clean Sri Lanka Secretariat, the Praja Shakti Secretariat and the Sri Lanka Army, was launched covering all Gramanildari divisions across the island. The program aims to promote cooperation within communities and revive the traditional concept of collective labour among the younger generation. It also seeks to develop underutilised public facilities by fostering positive attitudes towards public property while creating a more attractive environment by keeping public spaces, including main roads and marketplaces, clean. The Colombo district launch of the Attama National Cleanliness Day program was held today, centred on the Crow Island beach in Mattakulia. In Kurunagala district, the Attama program commenced with the restoration of the Vennaru River in Kurunagala. The Anuradhapura district launch of the Attama National Cleanliness Day program was held centred on the 251 New Town area in Anuradhapura. The Polonnaru district launch of the Attama National Cleanliness Day program was held today, centred on the Deepa Uyana and Royal Garden in Polonnaru. An Attama cleanliness program was also conducted in the vicinity of the Minneriya Vava in Polonnaru. Under the Attama program held in Alahara area of Polonnaru, the Diyabeduma Regional Hospital and the marketplace premises were cleaned.
Weather first.
The Department of Meteorology says that several provinces and districts may experience rainfall.
Steven Machado is ready to bring us the very latest.
Yes, thank you, Krishan. Thank you, Yara. Now, the Department of Meteorology says that showers or thunder showers may occur at some times in the Sabaragamu and western provinces, as well as in the Norelia, Kandy and Gaul Mathura districts. Now, fairly heavy showers of more than 50 millimeters may occur at some places in the Sabaragamu province, as well as in the Gaul and Kalutara districts. Now, several spells of showers may also occur in the northwestern province. Strong winds of around 40 to 50 kilometers per hour may occur at times in the north-central, Sabaragamu, southern, central and northwestern provinces, as well as in the districts of Trincomalee. And the Department of Meteorology advises the public to take necessary precautions to minimize the risks of accidents caused by temporary strong winds and lightning that may occur with thunder showers.
Weather first.
Honouring a historic legacy of resilience, the South African High Commission in Sri Lanka marked South Africa's National Women's Day with a hands-on community outreach program in Colombo yesterday.
The South African High Commission in Colombo yesterday marked South Africa's National Women's Day, honouring a legacy of courage that spans nearly 7 decades. Observed annually, South Africa's National Women's Day commemorates the historic 9th of August 1956 march when over 20,000 women bravely descended on the Union buildings to protest oppressive apartheid pass laws. Bringing that spirit of resilience to Sri Lanka, this year's commemoration in Colombo successfully bridged borders. The High Commission partnered with civil society organizations to support women from disadvantaged backgrounds.
South Africa and Sri Lanka enjoy cordial relationships, very strong bilateral tie. And this is a country that equally supported South Africa during the most difficult time of apartheid, where sacrifices were made across the world to ensure that South Africa today is free. We are free because everybody understood that it was a glorious call for every country and every nation that prides itself as a responsible nation to fight against a system that criminalized normal behavior and normalized criminal behavior. So we are celebrating today the Women's Day with the mothers and grandmothers, our sisters and daughters from Sri Lanka. We, the fathers and grandfathers, uncles and sons of our nation, celebrate alongside you today. When a woman is empowered, everyone gets empowered. When women prosper, we all prosper. When women rise, we all rise. Today, we pay tribute to all the women of South Africa. Izimbobo, to the stone, the grinding stone, our helpers, our anchors, the possessors of unique empathy, kindness, and compassion.
As part of the outreach program, essential food parcels were distributed to economically impoverished women, offering solidarity to those navigating modern socio-economic challenges.
An internationally acclaimed women's adventure challenge, Raid Amazons, is returning to Sri Lanka in November.
Sri Lanka is set to welcome back one of the world's most prestigious all-women adventure challenges, Raid Amazons, for its 26th edition. The event will be held from the 2nd to the 10th November 2026, bringing together more than 250 international participants from across the globe. A media briefing was held to announce the return of the event to Sri Lanka.
Talking about adventure tourism, this is something, a market segment which is growing very fast in the global tourism market, and Sri Lanka has the potential to go up to $2 billion plus segment by 2030. And Sri Lanka's potential for adventure tourism is boundless. For example, our beaches, marine activities, surfing, world-class surfing destinations we have, and going up trails like Pico Trail and mountains, hiking, and then whitewater rafting of Kitulgala in the Kalani River. All these, wildlife safaris or whale watching, all those. This small island, we can offer one of the greatest experiences in adventure tourism. With this, Sri Lanka's brand name and the potential will go to the world, and we are also very soon we will launch our global digital and PR promotion campaign as well, which will also bring Sri Lanka and our tourism product to the world.
Raid Amazons combines activities such as trail running, cycling, navigation challenges, and other endurance-based events showcasing teamwork, resilience, and adventure. The event is expected to boost Sri Lanka's global visibility as an adventure tourism destination while showcasing its natural landscapes, culture, and hospitality to the world.
Cinnamon Box Office launched their destination event calendar in Colombo recently.
The launch of the Cinnamon Box Office Destination Event Calendar, organised by Cinnamon Box Office, which aims to position Colombo as a year-round hub for international entertainment, culture and lifestyle experiences, while strengthening Sri Lanka's creative economy by connecting audiences with globally recognised productions, took place in Colombo. One of the biggest announcements at the launch was the world's premier Michael Jackson tribute production titled This Is Michael, Relive the Legend, which will be presented by City of Dreams Sri Lanka on the 8th and 9th of November at the podium. General Manager of Cinnamon Life at City of Dreams Sri Lanka and Senior Vice President, Colombo Hotels of Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts, Kamal Munasinghe, addressed the gathering.
This is much more than just a ticketing platform. It's a platform that connects people with unforgettable experiences, where it's concerts, theatre, family entertainment, culinary events, or inspiring speakers. Cinnamon Box Office will become the gateway to discovering what's happening at the City of Dreams. Our goal is simple: to make world-class entertainment more accessible to the Sri Lankans.
Senior Vice President of Global Alliances and Partnerships and Head of Corporate Affairs of the John Keells Group, Dilip Mudadania, spoke on the importance of entertainment for tourism growth.
Colombo require coordinated efforts behind other landmarks such as museums, art gallery, events, local and international music, theatre, arts festival through planned activities. And this is what we call soft value of a place. We don't have to build Eiffel Towers. We don't have to make huge constructions to make a mark of it. And this is the opportunity, and this is the blue ocean that is available for Colombo to become a leading tourism destination, and then the spillover go to the other areas.
Building on more than a decade of experience, Cinnamon Box Office has previously brought internationally recognized productions such as Mamma Mia and The Sound of Music to Sri Lanka, while also facilitating events featuring globally renowned chefs including Nigella Lawson, Gary Megan, George Colombaris and Marco P.A. White, alongside conferences, lifestyle experiences and celebrity engagements.
Spain has imposed border controls on all air and sea travel from Italy as a row between the two EU countries intensifies.
Tarunika Naratna has more details.
Thank you, Viara. Thank you, Krishan. Well, Spain has announced it will introduce temporary border checks on visitors from Italy in response to Rome imposing similar measures after a mass rush of people from Morocco into Ceuta. Now, the checks, which come amid persistent irregular migration pressure facing Italy, will start at midnight today and last until the 7th of September, according to a statement by Spain's Interior Ministry. Hours earlier, Spain threatened Italy with countermeasures if it did not swiftly lift its own border checks, drawing a rebuff from Rome.
The rare spat between the EU and NATO allies came after tens of thousands of people crossed from Morocco to Spain's North African territory between the 30th and 31st of July in an unprecedented deadly rush. The scenes infuriated EU members that back a hard line on irregular immigration, including Italy, which imposed border checks on people arriving from Spain for a period of 1 month. The Spanish government criticized the measure yesterday as, quote, unfair and contrary to the EU's interests and discriminatory for the Spanish population, unquote. Within hours, the government of Italy's far-right Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, said it had no intention of revising the decision before the 15th of August, when it said Spanish authorities expected a new wave of migration to hit Ceuta. Spain's Interior Ministry announced the reciprocal measures within hours.
Shifting attention to Thailand, now the country's Prime Minister has vowed to introduce new gun control laws in the wake of a shooting by a teenager on the outskirts of Bangkok that left 8 people dead and 22 injured. The 14-year-old killed his grandparents at the home they shared before travelling to Debsirin School in Nonthaburi, where he was a student. And there, he killed 5 teachers before taking his own life. Later, Thai media reported that a student had also died from their injuries.
Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul said he plans to introduce laws that restrict the carrying of firearms in public, with the new legislation only allowing government officials on duty to carry guns. According to reports, the gun and bullets used in the attack belonged to the teen's grandfather, with initial inspection finding signs that the firearm had been searched for inside the grandfather's bedroom. International and local media have reported that the gun was legally registered and had a permit. Thailand has one of the highest rates of civilian gun ownership in Southeast Asia, with around 10.3 million firearms in civilian possession, around 4 million of which are believed to be owned illegally. The country has strict gun laws which punish the illegal possession of arms up to 10 years in jail, but enforcement of these laws has been an issue.
It is now time to take a look at your sports news for tonight.
Stevin Machado brings us the details.
Well, yes, thank you, Krishan, and thank you, Viara, once again. Now, the CMG Cricket League 2026, organized among the companies of the Capital Maharaja Group, was successfully held today at the Coles Cricket Ground in Colombo.
The CMG Cricket League 2026 was held at the Coles Cricket Ground in Colombo. The tournament commenced in the morning under the patronage of Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Group, Shevan Daniel, and Chief Operating Officer and Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Group, Nidra Veerasinghe. Chairman of the Capital Maharaja Group, Sashi Raja Mahindran, and former veteran cricketers Sanath Jayasuriya and Upul Chandana joined the event as chief guests. The tournament was organized with the aim of enhancing the sporting skills of employees of companies affiliated with the Capital Maharaja Group and fostering camaraderie among them. A total of 32 teams representing companies within the Capital Maharaja Group participated in the tournament. In addition to the cricket tournament, a competition was also held to select the best team tent. The tournament was conducted under a league format. Accordingly, each team was required to play 3 matches in the preliminary round. The teams for the semi-finals were selected based on the results of those matches.
And the excitement continued with a match involving the senior management of the Capital Maharaja Group also being held this year. Let's take a look.
The match was played between the Beyond Defied and Power Play Pros teams. Beyond Defied won the match by 3 runs. The final was played between the Tough Legends and Steinians teams. Batting first, Tough Legends scored 79 runs for the loss of 3 wickets. While chasing, Steinians were 8 runs for the loss of 1 wicket when the match was stopped due to poor light conditions. Accordingly, Tough Legends and Steinians, who reached the final for the first time in the tournament's history, were declared joint champions.
As we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News Today, we take this opportunity to wish all students who will be sitting for the Grade 5 scholarship examination tomorrow all the very best for their exam.
We know you will ace the examination and make our country proud. With that, we wish all our viewers a good weekend. Take care, good night, and God bless you.